The Electoral Commission of Tanzania has announced that outgoing President Samia Suluhu Hassan has been re-elected in a landslide victory. Official results give President Hassan a staggering 97.6% of the vote. However, this overwhelming figure comes after her main rivals were either imprisoned or disqualified from the race, effectively sidelining the opposition. The post-election period has been marred by 3 days of significant violence and protest, which began on election day. International observers also reported an extremely low voter turnout, with many ballot boxes seen nearly empty. It is important to note that while Samia is serving her second term, this is her first time being directly elected by the public. She first came into power in 2021 as vice president following the death of her predecessor John Pombe Magufuli. For now, the capital Dar es Salaam is reported as calm, but several embassies are advising.
Hello, my people. As you see in that short clip, that the Electoral Commission in Tanzania have declared Suluhu Hassan, Miss Suluhu Hassan, the winner of that election. And you see that this election have been, marked with, inconsistency, and eventually you can say fraud. You know what I mean? The whole election was a sham, and they started with, first of all, disqualifying your opposition. And sometimes when you see this electoral fraud in Africa, you think it's only for men that can want to get into power by all means. But we see that even what a man can do, a woman can do it. And this lady really don't care. She want to be the president of Tanzania. And, he have copied what other African corrupt leaders are doing by rigging election. And look at you are winning 97% of the vote. If actually you won this 97% of the vote, there won't be protests, there won't be death. I don't know how this woman will sleep at night, knowing full well that this election was a fraud. That anyone that announced her as a winner is a crook. That person, that individual, is a crook. You know what I mean? But we see this often in Africa. Why? But what we don't we have not seen before is that a woman can be so mean and determined in this way to do everything against the law, everything against the law to stay in power or to be in charge. You know what I mean? And when you even see the way she dresses, claiming to be a conservative Muslim, you know what I mean? And you don't have a conscience. I mean, what's the point of dressing like in a conservative way, but indulging in malpractice? You know what I mean? This is kind of hypocrisy. You know what I mean? I will suppose somebody that dress half naked, but if the person if the person want to maintain the law and is honest, it doesn't intimidate his oppositions. You know what I mean? But what's the point of dressing always covering your head, the scarf, and you are corrupt yourself. You know what I mean? But we know what's happening in Africa. Once the election is declared and the winners, the West will run away with it because this is what they want. They want African that cannot, that they don't care who is in charge of Africa anyway. They only care if the person is against them. But once the person is not against them, they don't care how the person gets to power. Because now they're going to say the election is done and dusted and this woman won. But, I don't want to be, for me, the type of person I am, I don't want to, if I'm going to contest for election, I don't want somebody to die because of the election. You know what I mean? Because of power stuff like that. I don't want a single person, not even die, even to even break his leg because of election. And all this stuff we see is transient. It's transient. At a point you're gonna leave that power. You know what I mean? But this is strange. I never know that a woman can be so. Maybe I'm gonna shift the blame. I'm gonna shift the blame to maybe somebody. Because there must be men advising. You know what I mean? Maybe it's the men that are pushing her into this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. But sometimes women doesn't like. Some women doesn't like to take accountability. You know what I mean? They rather blame other people. But this is surprising to me that this woman can be so arrogant and determined to stay in power. And you remember how he got in power because the president died. He was a vice president, I believe. Now he took over. And now, because he want to get, win an election to be like, have like true legitimacy to be in power, because people claim that people have voted for her. But this is not an election. This is a sham election. You know what I mean? But it is what it is in Africa now. It's nothing people can do. Like some people, that's why it's not. That's when they do stuff like this, and there's a queue somewhere, the army take over, and you can't blame the army to taking over. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our video. Peace.